Hi, my name is Jason.
And I'm Lorraine.
And 4 years ago, our family left the city in Los Angeles area to start a small homestead in the mountains of North Carolina. And last year we did a homestead tour. I'll leave a link down in the show notes of that homestead tour if you have not seen it. We have grown so much this year that this is going to be another homestead tour, an updated version. And I hope this video inspires you guys to show you all what you can do on 1.5 acres. Let's get started.
This is our main garden over here, and it is about 2,400 square feet of gardening space. And what we do in our garden is the no-till system. It started out about half the space when we first started this garden, and it's just grown and grown over the years.
So with the combination of the wood chips, and we use the wood chips for between the rows of our garden to combat with the weeds and help with our irrigation so it doesn't flood too bad if we do get a lot of rain. And then with the wood chips and the combination of the compost that we put on top of the rows and we direct plant right into the compost, we are able to grow most of our food for the entire year. When we first arrived 4 years ago, the only thing that was on this property was our house. Everything else was just a big patch of grass. This houses our garden tools and all of our feed for everybody, for all our animals. And then also I had to add this space. This wasn't big enough and we needed something for our lawnmower to help hold that. And that has been really beneficial for us. Another thing that I did was build this rainwater system. And so we use this to sometimes water our garden, to water our animals. And it has been really essential collecting the rainwater. One of the newest things that we did this year was build this pig shelter. And this is a high tunnel that we built for our 2 pigs. First time getting pigs this year. This is also where we house all the pig feed in these 2 barrels and in these buckets. The pigs were in here for about 1 month when we first got them. As they're pooping in the back there, we're covering with all wood chips. At the same time, we're building compost as they're doing that. But since we have the pigs, we are now using the pigs to till up some areas and till up some more garden spaces. So we had to move the pigs out to help us with that.
Go. This is one of the areas that we just recently had the pigs on, and they tilled up this area for us. They tilled up the grass, and here is where we decided to plant our pumpkin patch. We're still working on putting in some more beds, mulching the walkways that have been covered with fabric barrier so the weeds don't come up, but we've already got some pumpkins planted here. And in this space is where we'll grow most of our pie pumpkins, where we'll make pumpkin pies throughout the rest of the year.
Now these are our 2 Berkshire pigs. We have about a month left on these guys. They're almost 7 months old. So we're gonna have 1 more month left and then we're gonna be putting them in our freezer. This is new to us this year. We're not used to bigger animals. We're just always used to chickens. So this was definitely a learning experience for us, this first go around. But here, they've been here about 2 weeks and they're ready to be moved away. It's been about 1 or 2 weeks. We'll have them in one spot and here in that spot, and then we have them in that shelter. We use this Premier One electrical netting, and this is a portable fence that we move around with them as we move the pigs around. And they do respect the fence. We have their water for them set up, and then over here is where we have their shelter, and it keeps them away from the sun and keeps them a little bit more cooler and keeps them in the shade. Now, prior to 4 years ago moving here, we really didn't have experience doing any of this stuff. Like, we're pretty much brand new and we are just figuring this stuff out as we go. So I feel if we could do it, you guys could do it. Now this is our greenhouse, or I guess it's a high tunnel, low tunnel DIY greenhouse that I built. And most of this stuff that you see that we built on our homestead, I have plans for on our website, and we've done videos on just about everything that we're talking about here. So here's where mainly we start seeds in. We do have some things that we're growing also in the ground. We have tomatoes growing here, And we're gonna mainly use this year for our bell peppers and peppers. And then when it gets too hot, we roll up the sides. This is nothing fancy, just very simple build. And that's the key when you start your own homestead. And when you're homesteading is, it doesn't have to be fancy, you know, as long as it's functional and it works. And here's another water collection system. Here in the mountains of North Carolina, we do not have a problem with droughts or not having water, but it rains here a lot, and so why not take advantage of it? I attached a gutter to our hoop house here, and the water drips down, and then we have a spout on here, and we can fill buckets up. We can fill up a water can and water inside here, and really saving the water here is more about convenience for us.
One of the really cool things that Jason built for us one year was this veggie washing station. Sometimes we will connect this hose right up to the sink and we can spray our vegetables and wash them off before we bring them inside, and that's so great because we really don't want a whole bunch of dirt down our sink drain, but especially with the beets. But this is awesome to have. The water just goes down. We can collect it if we want with buckets, and we can just bring in fresh, clean vegetables right into our house.
Something new this year that we are doing more of is producing more pasture-raised poultry. And typically we would always do maybe about 60 chickens. This year we're doubling that, and we're going to end up doing about 120 chickens to put in our freezer. This is our first batch of chickens, and these are Cornish cross chickens. So for our meat chickens, we move these chickens on a movable chicken coop, and we just move them all around every single day, sometimes twice a day, and they are eating the grass and the bugs, and they're out in the sunshine and fresh air. And then we also still feed them, and raising them on grass is one of the healthiest, best ways that you can raise a chicken. So we have those Cornish cross chickens in a chicken tractor, and these are our Freedom Ranger chickens. And we also have these in a chicken tractor, and we basically use this whole area right here for our meat chickens, as we just move them every single day up and down and let them eat all that grass. And these guys, we're about 4 weeks out with these guys before we put these in our freezer.
Here is where we have our ducks. We used to have 3 ducks, but last night we lost one of our ducks to an animal predator. It came in the middle of the night and stole our ducks. So now we are just left with 2. We have a male and a female, and we get duck eggs. And the greatest thing about duck eggs is they're great for baking.
Something that's very brand new, like brand new this week, is this new chicken coop that we built. Typically we'd have all our egg layers, our ducks, all in the chicken tractor moving about, but since we started doing more meat chickens this year, we're running out of spaces to move our egg layers. And we also got new egg layers. So we have about 20 egg layers currently. We have 5 egg layers that are currently laying, and then they're already about 3 or 4 years old. So they're getting to their end of time where they can actually be laying eggs. And these are our 2 apple trees. We planted these when we first moved, and they just started producing apples for us last year. Our home that we live in is a single wide mobile home. And when we first moved in, it was not the best of shape. We still have work to do on it, but we basically gutted all the inside the first 6 months we first moved here. And after gutting out our mobile home and fixing it up, our mobile home ended up being featured in the Carolina Home and Gardens magazine and also the Clayton Homes website.
This is another part of our garden space. This is up here on our hill close to our house, and we've got a couple of raised beds that Jason built for me. And in here, this year we decided to do onions. This is a great way to utilize the hill and grow more food and less lawn. Up here on this terrace, we've got our blueberries and elderberry trees. And with these elderberries, we like to make elderberry syrup in the fall time.
In this small chicken tractor, we have 2 of them. We utilize these chicken tractors on our hill as we free range more of our meat chickens, because you know we're only on 1.5 acres. We don't have a ton of pasture or a bunch of land to be moving chickens or anything like that. So we're utilizing our hill more. This makes 90 chickens that we currently have, and we're supposed to get some more next month. And we also use these as a brooder, and so in about another week we're gonna take them off the heat lamp and move them down on our hill, and so they could free range and eat some more grass. All right, so that's it. This is our 1.5 acre homestead, year 2020. It took 4 years to get to where we're at today, producing a good portion of our food for us, for our family. And we hope this video can encourage you, can inspire you guys, and show you guys what you can do on a smallish acreage. And we appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see you guys next time.
My